But what I found, there's like this opportunity for organic growth, which is fantastic. And you can be doing really well in that. But when you actually start to focus your intentions on the type of agency that you want to be, the type of clients that you really want to work with, and the type of work that you want to do, and actually like make a plan around it, that's when, we kind of took off like a rocket.
What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here with another episode of the Smart Agency Masterclass, a podcast for the agency owner that wants to learn from other agency owners and hear their story about how they grew. And on today's episode, we're talking with an amazing woman agency owner that has grown over 75% over the past 2 years. And we're going to talk about how she's actually gone through that growth so you guys can too. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Hey, Pilar, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you on too. So tell us who you are and what do you do?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Pilaar Terry. I'm managing partner and COO of POV Agency. We are a big boutique communications agency that reimagines how PR is done, and most importantly, who it's done by. We're based in Los Angeles, but we are a fully remote agency offering corporate and culture communications, and we've got folks all over the country.
How'd you get started? Were you an accidental agency owner, or did you have plans to start this?
Yes, accidental. Absolutely. That's why I got so excited when you said that, because not a lot of people kind of fall into this thing. They're like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I have since I was born. I did not at all. My entire career has been basically at agencies. And I thought that I was going to be at an agency until I died. And I was happy about it.
Most people are. They die at agencies, right?
But I really thought I was going to make, a ton of money, have a fantastic title, and just really toe the company line. And what I found was that the universe had another plan for me. I started one agency, and then I ended up starting another one with my business partner and also my husband. They're one and the same. And it's been a wild ride. I fell into this thing, but I'm loving it so far.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, give it time. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about kind of what are some of the things that has helped you grow? Like I kind of teased in the show, you guys have really good growth. What do you contribute to that?
What do I contribute to our growth? Number one, I think really being ourselves and showing up authentically. Believe that my husband and business partner and I have cultivated like these really amazing careers, right? I've been in the business for about 20 years. He's been in the business for around 15. And while we've been working with, tons of agency partners, tons of different clients, we've really just been like dope people who do good work. And so when they found out that we had joined forces, I think there was just a lot of like word of mouth referrals and organic growth that way. But what I found, there's like this opportunity for organic growth, which is fantastic. And you can be doing really well in that. But when you actually start to focus your intentions on the type of agency that you want to be, the type of clients that you really want to work with, and the type of work that you want to do, and actually like make a plan around it, that's when, we kind of took off like a rocket.
What were some of your big challenges, if you could go back a couple of years ago, what was one big challenge that you were struggling with?
That is a great question. I think my biggest challenge was coming into who I was as a leader and really trying to balance the needs of the company, the needs of the team, and the needs of myself as a leader and a boss and an owner and a person. I think early on in my career when I was running the business and there was like a handful of us, I'll say 4 or 5, I really put the team's needs first, which is what any good agency owner does, right? But it was to my detriment. And I was, shouldering a lot of the burden and taking on a lot of the work of my employees because I did not want to burn them out. I did not want to upset them. I did not want them to think for a minute, oh my God, I don't want to work here, or my boss is a jerk. So I took on way more than I should have instead of delegating, instead of standing in my own power as a leader, instead of being okay to give constructive feedback from a client or even from myself to a team member. And I found out very quickly that that was to my detriment, but also to the teams as well. So the biggest challenge was like figuring out how to lead and kind of managing my needs against the needs of the team and the needs of the company.
Tell me a little bit more about kind of that mindset of why, because I feel like a lot of agency owners kind of fall into that where they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this team member to leave, but they're not pulling their weight on this. So like, what were you afraid of?
Oh gosh, I think I was afraid that people wouldn't want to work for us. We're a small company. I came from like the really, really big PR and communications agencies like the Edelmans, the Fleischman Hillards, the marketing arm, United Entertainment Group. I came from these massive places where there were so many resources and so many ways of working. And you had this like huge safety net internationally, right? To a business that was started at a kitchen table. We're all working remotely. It was during COVID. So we're just looking at each other face to face for hours on end. And I was just so grateful that they wanted to take a chance on me instead of thinking like, hey, I'm taking a chance on them and we're taking a chance on each other. So like, there's got to be a give and take. So I think that was why, honestly, it was fear. And I didn't feel like I could really like stand up enough to be like, hey, I need you to pull your weight, even though, I'm signing these people's checks. So it's tough. It's so tough. Those are things that they do not teach you that you're going to have to learn yourself.
What was the transformation? What was the turning point or the thing that was like just clicked on that was like, screw it. Like, I can't do all this stuff and you guys need to go do this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was a team member that ultimately I had to make the decision to let go. And I think that like just a switch was flipped where I was looking around at the team and I was like, I don't know if this is the team for me. I don't know. I'm not sure this is the team that I want to grow this agency with. And that was on me, right? Because I had hand selected all these people, so I can't blame them. It's on me. So when I made that realization, okay, these might not be my people. And then also investing in a really amazing partner. We work with Begin Development and they do executive coaching. They do team organization development. They do team training. So working with them, but also like getting the right people in place and taking ownership as a leader. Maybe I didn't hire for the right things. Maybe I was looking for something that was feeding my ego instead of what does the business need? When I really looked into like what the business needs were, where I had messed up, where we had opportunities for growth, and then brought in an expert to help us get there, that's when things turned around. Oh my God, so much. And we're in an amazing, amazing place right now. I'm really proud of the team that we have.
Did you think working for some of the bigger agencies hurt you in starting your agency?
Oh gosh. No, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like I loved so many things about being at those big agencies. I learned structure, all of the skills that I learned, I built on and still use today. I learned how to deal with so many different clients and so many different people. I learned how to really enjoy a big budget. And I learned like what name recognition looks like and feels like. So I got so much experience from that. I would not be here today without those. What did hurt, however, was being marginalized at those places. By the time I was a senior vice president, I was like, this is going to be amazing. I've got a seat at the table. I've got a voice. And what I learned, Jason, is that even though I had a seat at the table, it didn't really have a voice. I wasn't really valued. And then I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I traveling so much of the year, not seeing my family? Why am I stressing out over things that like, why am I doing that for these people who like don't really value what I have to bring to the table? So that's the part that hurt. But I took that, I don't want to call it hurt, but I took that experience and it has fueled me into creating the agency that we have now, where the majority of the team are people of color. We've got working parents. We've got people who are in the military. We've got people who are neurodivergent. We've got Black and brown folks. We've got, folks of different sexualities. We're all here and everybody has a voice. And that's what's important to me.
Yeah, it's amazing what you learn at other companies and what you can take away. And most of the time you learn kind of what not to do, right? Like the biggest thing I took away from working for, Arthur Andersen was really like, if you hire the right people, you don't have to motivate them, but you have to worry about demotivating them. And that's what I learned, because believe it or not, everyone, I was a good employee way back then, and then I just like, I'd be the worst employee yet. Like, I've been fired from every single job other than, Arthur Andersen. That was a layoff. But you'd come to them with an idea, right? You think you have a seat at the table and you come with this great idea, and then they're like, yeah, okay. And you're like, that was kind of demotivating.
Yeah. I completely feel you on that. I think when I was like in like learning who I am as a leader, I swung the pendulum way far in the other direction, because like you said, you learn what not to do. So I was thinking in my head, what I don't want to do is burn people out. What I don't want to do is having people work, so many hours and on the weekends. What I don't want to do is give somebody a task without like spoon feeding how they need to do it. And I was operating off of what I didn't want to be instead of embracing what kind of agency can we be here.
And that's kind of why I asked you. I was like, because I see people struggling when they come from the bigger agencies in the very beginning with that exact thing, because they're like, I want to like cuddle my team so much. Like they're the bubble boy of, bubble boy employees.
Yes.
I just made up a term, right? Are you bubble boying your employees?
You would need to use it again, because that's what I was doing. I was like taking such special care of them that they were unable to get the experiences that they needed to get to be good at their jobs. So I was doing them a disservice, as well as doing a disservice to myself, and also feeling bad. Like, we don't have clients with the same massive multi-million dollar budgets. We don't have people all over the planet that you can like tap into for resources. There's just 5 of us or 6 of us or 8 of us. And I was feeling like the lack, instead of looking around and going like, what do you have in abundance though? You've got so many things that are just endemic to your agency. Really lean into those instead of thinking about what you don't have.
Yeah, I always find that if you give them a direction to where the boat's going, or whatever your North Star is, then they can make decisions based on the agency, or rather than based on, what's better for themselves. Yeah. And it takes a while. So I applaud you for getting to that rather quick, because a lot of times people struggle for a decade, 20. I mean, I've seen it for 20 years where they've constantly, coddled their team, or they haven't really coddled them, but it's kind of like if they fall down, they pick them up right away, rather than letting them learn how to walk and letting them make mistakes. Like, you got to let your team, make mistakes, and then kind of reward them for it. Be like, all right, do you know how it happened? Is it going to happen again? And like, okay, good. Like, you learned from that mistake. So,
and then you pick it up and you kind of move on. It's interesting to me that you said like people struggle with that for so long. I could have sat in it and been in that place of, hey, I'm just going to like take care of everyone, because it's my name on the door. It's my partner's name on the door. And so we can't let our reputation get damaged. And maybe that's another reason why agency leaders stay in that, because it's like, it's my reputation. So if somebody else messes up, then that's going to be a reflection on me. And so no one can ever mess up, or I'm just going to like make sure that nobody, gets like negative feedback or something.
Here's the mind shift that everyone needs to kind of go through. And believe me, it took me 2 decades probably to realize this, where we relate ourselves to what we do. So I'm an agency owner. So when I sold my agency, I was depressed because I sold my identity, but I just did agency work, right? It was more about going, I'm creative. It's kind of like what's that old Michael Jordan commercial on Saturday Night Live? He's like, you're good enough, you're smart enough, gosh darn enough, right? People like me.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Jason, you were saying something that so resonates with me. When I left one of the big agencies I was at, my identity was like, I'm a VP of client management at X, Y, and Z. And that's who I am. And I travel all over and I work with celebrities and I manage these big budgets and I've got this big client. And when I left, I also was depressed and was like, who am I now? Now I'm working in like a flower shop and I'm a phone psychic. Like what am I even, as good as I thought I was? Am I even a person? So like, it just, wow, that really resonates with me. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Well, and you just gotta, I always tell people you got to constantly remind yourself this, because when you do get to a point where you do pass the agency off, or you close it down, or you sell it, hopefully it's selling it or passing it off to the next generation or whatever it is, your identity is kind of lost for a little while. And you just got to kind of remember the conversation of going, all right, like I'm still creative, I'm still adventurous, I'm still curious, all these different things. And then you'd be like, okay, cool. Like, and it also takes off a lot of pressure, because if your agency ever does fail, right, or doesn't do well, you take that on your shoulders versus like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'll go create something else. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, I get a restart. Like, it's like Monopoly. It's literally a Monopoly game. You're not going to win all the time. Just
nope, you get to pass go.
Play it again. So, but, well, awesome. Oh, well, this has been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
Ooh. Just one thing that I want to leave like agency owners or people who are listening to this is like, allow yourself to make mistakes. Because I wish somebody had told me that coming into it. Like, you're going to make a mistake, girl, every day on something. It could be on a client thing. It could be on an admin thing. It could be on a hire. It could be on whatever. But like you just said, you get an opportunity for a restart, and embrace that, because you do, and it'll all be fine.
Awesome. Yeah. What's a agency website people can go and check you guys out?
To www.povagency.co, or you can follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn at POV Agency.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. And if you guys enjoyed this, I created a free masterclass for you. If you want to really kind of unlock your maximum profit, create a self-driven sales team, and really kind of perfect that offer that closes clients quicker, I want all of you to go to agencymastery360.com/convert. It's a free masterclass, 4 videos, tons of resources for you to help you do all this. Make sure you go to agencymastery360.com/convert. And until next time, have a swank day.